Dr. Scott Gerber of Ohio Northern University is our guest today on Noon Edition. He's a member of the Ohio Advisory Committee to the U.S. Commission on Civil Rights, and he's been there since 2008. First of all, thanks for joining us today, Doctor. And one of the topics you would like to discuss is the public hearings that your committee is currently conducting on a study being done to examine the civil rights impact of a source of income discrimination that's been happening in Ohio housing. So tell us more about this.
Okay. Yeah, the U.S. Commission on Civil Rights is a federal entity designed to investigate and report on civil rights violations. And the commission has state advisory committees to help it do that. And I've been on the Ohio committee, as you pointed out, since 2008. And our current project is source of income discrimination in Ohio housing. And so we're going to have 4 public hearings on that. And what source of income discrimination is when a landlord chooses not to rent to someone because of where they get their legal income. So housing vouchers, disability benefits, and that kind of thing. And that's illegal in 20 states and in the District of Columbia and in some cities and counties in Ohio. So we're going to investigate whether this is in fact a problem. We don't just assume it is a problem, but we're going to investigate whether it's in fact a problem. And if it is, we'll make recommendations to the U.S. Commission on Civil Rights, who will then pass along those recommendations to Congress, the president, the governor of Ohio, and the legislature.
So from what I've been reading, it's not just a issue of income, but it's also based on race, disability, status, your national origin, age, religion, sex. A lot of other factors go into this, but income is the main priority.
Well, our jurisdiction includes all of the protected categories that you mentioned: age, race, gender, religion, etc. But this current project is about source of income. We've done projects on other specific things. But what we're trying to see is whether source of income discrimination is a proxy, for example, to racial discrimination or discrimination against elderly people or against disabled people. And so that's what our witnesses will enlighten us about.
So if someone feels as if they have been income discriminated against, how do they go about taking action on something like that?
Well, at the moment, it depends on where you live in Ohio. If you live in Dayton, for example, it's illegal under city ordinance in Dayton, and you can seek file a discrimination charge there. But statewide, it's not illegal in Ohio. And so if we find out, if we conclude as a committee that this is really a problem, what we would do, I would assume, is recommend to the governor and to the Ohio legislature to make it illegal in Ohio to discriminate on the basis of source of income in housing.
Always nice to know that we have a local and familiar face who is working on issues like this. And Scott, we appreciate the fact that you take the time to sit on this committee and go through these hearings, because this isn't something that most average Americans even give a thought to in their daily lives.
Well, you're welcome. I'm glad to do it. It's an honor to do it.
All right. Thank you so much, Scott, for your time. And we'll have more on Noon Edition right after this.